Hey guys, and welcome to my new movie review for the absolutely most anticipated movie. Just kidding, it probably has gone under most people's radar, unfortunately, but I am going to go into absolute extremities detail in this movie review just for you guys because you're worth it, and I really want to give you my thorough thoughts on, that's right, The Misfits. Yes, absolutely, a 2021 movie with Pierce Brosnan, The Misfits. Guys, before I get into this movie review, I like to roll the intro, give you the cast, the synopsis, the director, and all the other good stuff that you guys need to know before going into this movie review so that you have a full idea. And then right at the end of my movie review, I like to give you guys trivia. But there is only one piece of trivia, and it's technically a spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler because it's kind of weird because it's actually in the trailer, sort of. Anyway, guys, without further ado, guys, I just want to say, those of you who are new to my YouTube channel, first of all, this is an absolutely warm welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And if you're new here, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and leave a thumbs up on this review. Thank you so much for doing that, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, guys, let's roll that intro. First off, we had Pierce Brosnan as Richard Peace, Tim Roth as Schultz, Nick Cannon as Ringo, Rami Jabbar as the Prince, Jamie Chung as Violet, Harmony Caulfield as Hope Pace, and Mike Angelo as 2021. And the director of Misfits is Rennie Harlan M for mature audiences. The Misfits Synopsis. After being recruited by a group of unconventional thieves, renowned criminal Richard Peace finds himself caught up in an elaborate gold heist that promises to have far-reaching implications on his life and the life of countless others. Action, adventure, thriller. 1 hour and 34 minutes long. The opening sequence of this movie is actually really well done. In terms of, it starts out, for those of you who haven't been following my channel for any at all, and you don't know, guys, I actually don't do spoilers in my movie reviews. That's right. Thanks, Eminem, man. I really appreciate it. I don't do spoilers in my movie reviews because, in my personal opinion, guys, spoilers aren't fair. So you're not going to get it from me. The opening sequence of this movie, guys, was actually really, really well executed because it actually started out with a black and white old TV style screen. And then it really, really, really slowly but cleverly fades into color and high definition quality palette that the movie ends up being for the rest of the duration of the film. And I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. In fact, I was so impressed. The first time I watched this film, I actually watched this film at home. The first time I watched it, I actually watched this film on iTunes. And yes, this movie is available on Apple TV in the States. So if you have the American ability to hire this movie with the CRL, whatever it's called, then you can watch this right now on Apple TV, or go and see it and support your local cinema, which I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do. Unfortunately, I couldn't see this movie in cinema because when I went to go to the cinema, our cinema went into lockdown due to COVID. So that sucks. But anyway, that doesn't matter. It's all good. I saw it on Apple TV. I saw it in the surroundings of my own home theater. And I saw it in the evening, and I had the whole room blacked out, everything like that. And the blacks were black. And I mean, my lounge room went pitch black. In the opening sequences, the opening title cards of this movie, where Ringo, who is actually the narrator of this movie and acted by Nick Cannon, he was the narrator of this film, and that opening sequences was his narration. When the blacks went black, it was black, and I mean it was black. It was really impressive. I was really impressed by that, and it just really worked for the opening of the film. Speaking of Nick Cannon, in my personal opinion, guys, he stole this movie in every single sequence that he is in this movie. In no way, shape, or form at all am I kidding you guys. He was so impressive. And I mean ridiculously impressive. Seriously, Nick Cannon owns this movie through and through wholeheartedly. This is definitely a movie. He just really shone. Every scene he was in, I laughed, I smiled, I was entertained, I was impressed, I was thoroughly, overwhelmingly just enjoying the movie because of his presence in it. And man, did he bring his aim game in this character for Ringo. Really well done. Man, I was impressed. And it's funny because in this movie, they actually explain why Ringo got his name Ringo, and it's pretty close to the start of the film, but it's really funny how he explains it. It's really funny. Like I said, guys, he owns this movie. He really brought his A game, even though Pierce Brosnan is Richard is actually the main star of the movie. Nick Cannon's character is literally really high up there as well. I know this is a really random observation. It might not be random, but I thought it was a random observation when I saw this film. Now, I actually saw this film twice, literally in the evening and then literally again the next day because I was that impressed. One of the things I observed about this movie is actually that each character had a very specific outfit. And I mean, the style of clothing that they were wearing was really specific to their character. And man, I thought that was really well done for this movie. It was just so well executed. And I, as an audience member, just watching it, I was like, yeah, I love that. I just really felt the individuality in this movie, and man, it just worked. It worked really well. It was so just to the movie, it was perfect. All of the characters in this movie actually had their characters explained thoroughly at the beginning sequences of the movie, and that really gave us as an audience member just an idea of what we're watching here. In fact, throughout the movie, and specifically towards the ending of the movie, you'll actually notice that it has a very clear Ocean's 11 and Ocean's trilogy vibe to it in a really good way. The music and everything, and it was really worked out really well like that, because again, like the Ocean's movie, that's how they really explained and delved into the characters, so that us as an audience, we're not like, who are these people and what are they doing? There was no confusion at all. They really did that absolutely brilliantly. I loved it. I really thought it was well executed like that. Again, no spoilers, but there's a power outage scene in this movie, and how the power outage scene kind of ends with how he comes out of the room and what he's holding in his hand and it's covered in something is actually really funny. There are so many brilliantly executed scenes like that in this movie where something happens so simply and then you see the outcome and it's just really funny, and that literally plays out every single time, every moment of this movie, and it's really funny. And that was like the best launching one to start this movie off, and it was just so funny. Just the way it unfolds is really good. The character Richard Pure in this movie, I actually really liked how suave and how much of a player and a ladies' man he is in this movie, because those of you who don't know, that's exactly how his character is portrayed in the 007 James Bond movies. They play it just the same, and he's wearing the same suave suits as he does in those movies. And I tell you what, in this movie, he just owns it. He owns that character. He owns that persona, and it's really well executed like that. And speaking of well executed like that, guys, I was actually really thoroughly entertained by how he actually comes across to another character in this movie a little bit further on into it, and it just, again, his persona is so smooth and suave, and he just hasn't lost it. He's still got the gift of just a ladies' man. It is really well done and very, very funny. One of the things that I love to talk about in my movie reviews, guys, is a very, very specific thing alongside the storyline, which this has a great storyline, but alongside that, it needs an element. It needs a very, very specific element in order for us to love what we're watching and be invested in what we're watching. And that is what I love, character chemistry. Oh my gosh, does this movie have character chemistry? Holy dooly. And I mean in bucket, in spades. Seriously, this movie's character chemistry is incredible, and movies need that. Like, it's got to have a good storyline, obviously, or else it just falls flat because you get bored. But this doesn't at all, in any way, shape, or form. This seriously is an absolutely brilliant, just mashed character chemistry film. Honestly, this deserves a salute in the highest honor when it comes to character chemistry, because they nailed it. They really did. So if you have seen the trailer for this movie, I'll put a link in the trailer in the description of this movie review. If you haven't seen the trailer, go and check that out. Now, in this trailer, in the movie, they actually are driving a Porsche 918 Spider. Wow. And I mean, wow. That is a powerful, powerful car. Oh my gosh. I kid you not, guys, in any way, shape, or form. Just literally seeing that thing, oh my gosh. And I tell you now, that is a car that is a massive head turner. Man. See this thing right here? That's a beast. That is a beast. Oh my gosh, that's a good nice car. I'll take 2, please. That'd be great. I'm just going to marvel at that for a second. It's a nice car. Wow, that's a nice car. Moving on. The rumored scene, with you and his wife, with Richard Schultz and Richard Pure and his wife Schultz, and Schultz's wife, the flashback scene, I cracked up laughing. It was such a quick throwback scene, but it was so funny. It was so well executed. Just seeing Richard dancing with the wife. It's a very, very quick scene. Seriously, like, blink and you'll miss it, but far out, it was so funny. Just to see them having a good time together. Really, really funny scene. Oh man, I love that scene. That cracked me up so bad. Now, I don't want to say anything bad about this movie to any degree at all, but I am going to say this, and it's a little bit unfortunate. The second bar sequence with Richard Pure in it, I actually felt like that was the only scene in this movie that just wasn't necessary. And I mean, it just wasn't necessary. The outcome of that scene, again, they play him as this, suave player and, hooks up with his chick or whatever. It literally, that bar sequence and even the music behind it, I think literally, if you cut that out and just played the next scene, it still would have flowed the rest of the movie perfectly. But I don't actually understand why they put that specific scene in this movie, because in my personal opinion, it literally was the only sequence in this movie that fell flat for me, unfortunately. But it is what it is. The underwater tank sequence, oh my gosh, that was so beautifully stunning and massive. Oh my gosh, was that massive. But wow, that was such a beautiful scene. Oh man alive, that was visually stunning. That honestly, I almost paused it just to loop it. Oh man alive, that was an absolutely incredible scene. I loved it so much. And again, the dress, the attire of what each character's wearing was in that scene was so played out so well. Just their individual styles of who they were as people and characters in the movie was just impeccable. So there's a scene in this movie, and it's a very, very quick scene. It doesn't go for long at all, but it's a white scene with gold elements in it, with two characters in it. It's very, very quick, but I tell you what, guys, I don't know how they did it. I really don't know how they did it, and I would love to know how they did it, but it was so beautiful. And I mean, it was so beautiful. Just seeing the crisp goldness in how rich the gold was, and the white, just the glow of the white. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Seriously, so stunning. So Richard Pure says a line, and then Ringo says a line directly after that, and I burst out laughing. Like I said, every time Ringo is in this movie, played by Nick Cannon, is so funny. So funny. So the line is, Richard says, "Now we know where the gold is," and then Ringo says, "Right under the shitter." Holy moly, I laughed so hard at that. You have absolutely no idea. That was so funny. Like, again, just a quick little scene, just a quick throwaway line, but absolutely hilarious. So there's a scene in this movie, guys, where Richard is talking to the prince, and he asks him what he's reading, and the prince is like, "Just a book I found." And he's like, the prince responds, and it's so funny, responds to Richard like, what? But then what they actually do with the book, that, you know, his idea with the book, man, that's clever. Like, it wasn't brilliant. It wasn't brilliant, but it was really clever in terms of the weight of the book. It was really, really well executed. I loved it. I really loved it. That was an absolute massive thumbs up to me. And before I go on any further, guys, this is what I personally like to ask my audience. Does the Misfits have in its core element, in its essential thing, in its DNA, the thing that movie needs to be filmed, that film needs to be filmed, so us as audience members can go back days, months, years, decades later and rewatch it and enjoy it just like the first time we did, guys? And that's what I like to call it, in my personal opinion, guys, in 3, 2, 1, that's right, guys, rewatchability. Does Misfits have rewatchability? Guys, you know it does. Why does Misfits have rewatchability so much? That's right, because I watched it. I literally watched it and then rewatched it. And I seriously, when this thing comes out on Blu-ray DVD, I'm definitely going to be purchasing this movie, because this movie is absolutely brilliant. Seriously. We are fully cock. Oh my gosh. Again, Ringo has a line with the prince in this movie, and they're talking about a certain subject, and they said, "We're fully cock." Ringo says, "We're fully cock." Sorry, the prince says, "We're fully cock," and then Ringo says, "No, we're cocked," as in like we're cocked, ready to go. He's like, "Yeah, we're cock." He's like, No. I ain't cock." Oh my gosh, that was absolutely hilarious. I love that scene so much. Again, every single element of this movie, guys, it's just the way it unfolds and the way it unravels, and the dialogue swapping between this movie is just brilliant, and the way it's executed is so funny. So there's something that happens, but that they make happen from the inmates in this movie. And they have to go into the bathroom to do something in there. And the face that he gives as he opens the door to the bathroom is priceless. And I mean absolutely priceless. Literally, it is a full-on burst out laughing moment. It was so funny. I just cracked up so bad at that. And also what Ringo wears on his face. Oh my gosh, just the way his mannerism persona changes in this specific scene towards the end of the film. So funny. The way he portrays it. In fact, that's another part of the film that I didn't think worked that great, but it didn't destroy the film at all. It's just their character chemistry to do with those two characters. You'll know when you see it. It wasn't terrible, it just wasn't the best. And I was like, yeah, but in saying that, really, really funny. So something happens in the bathroom. Something big happens in the bathroom, and I won't give it away, obviously, because no spoilers. But what I want to say about that scene is I was a little tiny bit surprised at how much I could tell that it was a CGI. Like, it wasn't terrible. I just could tell that it just didn't, they must have just literally flipped the car and they added the smoke and the fire in afterwards. But it was just like, it was good. It worked well, but I could tell obviously it was a CGI. It wasn't terrible, but yeah. So right towards the end of the film, guys, there's a sequence in this movie where the cars are chasing another car. And what's really funny, I'm actually surprised they didn't do a retake of this sequence, but one of the girls sitting on the left, they're wearing hazmat suits. And she mustn't have thought that the camera could see her, like, at all. But she waves to the camera, and you can see her eyes really clearly looking at the camera. And it's like, oh, I bet you didn't realize that the camera could see your eyes in that sequence, because obviously she had a hazmat suit on, so she probably couldn't see much anyway. But it was still hilarious, and how you see them in that scene, and just the way it's like, I'll call it the car dancing sequence, because that's what they do in the car. Absolutely hilarious. So I'm going to wrap this movie review up, guys. This is a definite double thumbs up for me. This is a brilliant movie. I thoroughly, highly recommend that you go and check out The Misfits. This is a brilliant movie, guys. And guys, for those of you who've been following my channel for any period of time, I like to wrap up my movie reviews and just to end it with a bit of trivia. And there's only one piece of trivia, and technically it's a spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler, but it's pretty cool anyway. So without further ado, guys, for anyone who's been following my channel for any period of time, guys, it's trivia time.
The desert scene was shot in a real sandstorm.
So there you have it, guys. The Misfits. And yes, again, apparently that was a bit of a spoiler. I don't know. I didn't see it as a spoiler, but whatever. All film is subjective, guys. I appreciated this movie. I loved it thoroughly. Like I said, I watched it twice in literally the span of 24 hours. I thoroughly enjoyed it so much. You guys are amazing. Guys, what did you think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. What did you think about The Misfits? Did you appreciate this film just as much as I did? Or did you think this is a waste of time? Guys, I appreciate your time so much. You guys are absolutely incredibly amazing. And don't forget, who's bringing this movie review for The Misfits? Yes, that's right, guys. Guys, this is Superman Steve. Appreciating you guys' time. Always loving it. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button. You guys are amazing. Thanks for following me. Thanks for following my channel. Until my next movie review or trailer reaction, this is Superman Steve. Bye!